Hey guys, welcome to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. So today we are going to talk about something really fun. It's all about growth. So it's embracing growth. Because you know what? Growth is a part of our lives. It's something everybody is experiencing. It's always unique to each and every one of us. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are, whoever's listening. I hope you're going to enjoy this episode and you let me know your comments and thoughts. Just send me an email, an IG message, or whatever whenever you want. Okay, so yeah, before we start, let's define growth. The dictionary definition of growth is the process of increasing in physical size, the one that we see all the time, the one with height and whatever, and then the process of developing or maturing physically, mentally, and spiritually. In these three aspects, we know that we go through this in like almost every day of our lives. Physically is growing if you're doing workouts, exercise, you experience this a lot as well. And growing up, you do. Mentally is keeping ourselves mentally strong in faces of adversity, a lot of other stuff. And spiritually, basically your journey as a spiritual person, your core beliefs and religion. Um, in your belief in this one God that we have, if that's your belief or what, I respect everybody else's. So yes. For me, we all know that growth is, again, unique for each and every one of us. It happens at a different pace, a different time in our lives. And there are so many ways that we could deal with it. And sometimes dealing with it is not, is not really easy for everybody. Because there are different kinds of growth that we experience. Sometimes these are the ones that we are expecting, and sometimes these are the ones that we're not expecting. So, in today's topic, we'll be discussing about growth, like specifically the different kinds of growth that we encounter in our lives, if we're ready or not, or something. And you know, I I keep saying I'm sorry, but um, growth should be holistic. Everybody has to go through this specific cycle of growth where we become physically strong, mentally strong, and spiritually strong as well. So, holistic growth in adults is inevitable and it will happen whether we're ready or not. So, in this certain topic today, I would want to discuss how we are able to see from afar these growth that we're gonna experience or we're experiencing, and how we're gonna go through them without feeling left behind or without feeling small after the whole process of it all. Because you can look at growth as a metamorphosis, a change in your life where you either embrace it or you don't embrace it. And even though if you don't embrace it, it still happens. You still grow in a certain point in your life. Sometimes the way we don't desire. So I'd rather us, focus on that and be vulnerable with yourself to accept the changes that you're gonna go through in this life. Okay, so we have two kinds of love that I actually want to talk about. So first off is the growth that we want. So and also this has a subset. So these are the growth or growths that we want, or the kind of growth that we want is something that we're ready for. These are the ones that we set our goals for. These are the ones where we have our specific goals set on. We work hard for that. We train every day for that, and we accept that growth. We want to acknowledge that growth. We want to see that growth in our lives. Growth that you're ready for is one of the first subsets of growths that we want. So we're here. We understand that these certain goals that we have for ourselves will force us to grow. It will force us to be a more mentally abled person when it comes to certain things that you want to do. If you want to be a developmental psychologist, you would study and you would be mentally prepared to take on the task of finishing your masters or finishing your studies in towards to that goal. And as you go through and achieve your goals, you grow as a person along with the experiences that you face. So these are the things that we actually invite. These are the things that we actually constantly work for as we grow. In a physical sense, we this is a growth that we're ready for is working out. If you're working out, you want to be fit and you're working out to be the best version of yourself physically. And mentally, you're exercising your mind to read, you constantly talk to yourself and reflect on things. So these are the things that actually you invite in. This is the growth that you invite in. So part of the growth that we want, we also talk about the growth that you're not ready for, the other subset of this kind of growth. um this is like you're not ready for this but you're capable of undergoing. Probably this is the kind of growth that we experience where you're like, you're goaling for that, but the opportunity came early for you. In For example, if you were a teacher and after a year of teaching you still think you need to have more experience as an educator, and then you're given a chance to be a director or directress or a principal on a higher level, um you either take it or not. If you take it, you get to have that growth. You get to know how to run the school. You get to know how to do stuff as what the director does or directress does. But it's sometimes you're not ready for that, but you're capable of it because people see the potential in you. So it's up to you. Whether you take it or not, there's still growth that's going to be happening for you. But what this is the kind of growth that actually puts you a few steps back from your goal sometimes as well. For example, if you have a you're working for this, for example, if you were working for a Spartan race and you're working in day out training for that, and then one day you made a mistake and then you got injured, and then you can't do your Spartan because it's almost close to the date of your competition or contest, the Spartan race, and you can't do it because you're injured. So this could also mean it would probably be a delay because maybe you're not physically ready, and mentally this growth it wants you to manifest and work on is your patience and your strength to actually be resilient enough to do something about it for the now and not focus on what are the things that you can't do. So this is something that happens abruptly and not according to plan, and not always anticipated. When it comes to setting goals for ourselves, we all know that we have our long term goals, our mid term goals, and our short term goals. And if you have those, there would be times where you'd be able to achieve your long term goals as of the moment, and you would be like mind blown as to how you're gonna deal with it. But it's growth. It's something that we actually have to embrace because growth is it's a part of life. It's change. It's constant. Growing is constant, and we get to choose how we're gonna grow. So growth that we want, we get to shape it to the way we want it to be. And even when you're ready or not ready for it, these are the things that the growth that we want are the things that we actually want to work for, already work for, and still working for. And just sometimes it's either way ahead of your timeline or way before your timeline. But this happens in God's time. This happens in the perfect timing of this universe and the world and with God. Next is why do we no the next type of growth is growth that we need. This is the kind of growth that happens when life knocks you down. Again, this is one of those times where you avoid discussing certain situations because it either hurts you or just plain uncomfortable for you to deal with. And okay, this kind of growth is something that we all fear sometimes because this is what we need, but we don't know if we want to deal with it. We don't know if we want to go through it. Examples of these are life changing events, like, let's say, heartbrokenness. You wouldn't know. You were totally blindsided to have someone cheat on you, and you're like, oh, my life's like gonna fall apart, but I don't even know how to deal with this. And the growth that comes along with that is a lot of personal growth, emotional, mental, spiritual, and personal growth is very evident in that. And sometimes that's what you need to figure out who you are as a person, apart from the person that you were seeing for the past few years. And that's what you need, but that's not what entirely you want. And probably you were not really ready for it. So, growth that we need is mostly like that, mostly life changing events that lead us to be where we are now and see that these experiences that we feel and work on and, experience will lead us to a lot of growth in the future. And most of the time, these are the kind of growth that you're unaware of and accompanied by a lesson in life you have to learn. So, yeah, a lesson in life you have to learn probably when you get injured. And this is also a part of personal growth and the growth that you need. You really didn't anticipate this and you're working for, but there is a time, there's a delay, there's a reason for everything that you're experiencing this. One good example for me would be is I want to study in Australia and I've been working on it for quite a while. And I guess the whole COVID thing is delaying everything that I've been working for. And instead of actually being upset about it all the time or obsessing about it, I tried to take a deep breath and just focus on the things that I could do for now and what's happening right now and what else I could do to help. And it's been helping, it's been working, and I think this is a lesson for me to read between the lines and be patient with the things that are happening in the world because it's not about me. There's a lot of other bigger picture around this world, and I'm not the only one. So I am grateful. I am alive. I am happy. I'm here. And I hope everybody gets to be that way too. And I know it's not for everyone and all of that, but you know, there's a really, really good thing about being grateful to where you are for where you are. And lastly, we're going to talk about how we can undergo the growth and how to cope with them. So, growth that we want, we all know it's so easy to deal with that because it's something that we've anticipated. But, there's still other times where even though you're ready for it, even though if you're not and then you are able to do it, there's still certain things that would block us from experiencing the full growth and potential of this situation. Okay, so the first subset is growth that you're ready for. So coping up with this is type of constantly setting goals for yourselves, big or small, and it has to be smart. Whenever you are achieving your goals one by one, you have to replace them one by one as well. You have to see that there's a progress. There's like this linear path going up. And it's not all the time like that. As I've said, there's sometimes a setback or a few minor pushbacks, but what you have to do is you have to muddle through it and you have to keep going and keep going up, even though if you're being set down and whatever. Come prepared, analyze your strength, and know where you fit in the situation. Most of the time, we forget that everything is not like linear and it's not like a leveling up kind of thing, but it is mostly kind of a situation where you have to be resilient, you have to be strong, you have to be mentally prepared that there would be setbacks to everything that you do. So that's one. Come prepared, analyze your strength, and know where you fit in the situation. Look at everything with a bigger perspective, see where this places you in the circle of life if you want to. And next would be growth that you're not ready but capable of undergoing. This is quite hard to understand sometimes because setbacks, pushbacks bring us a lot of like pain, anxiety, and things that causes us to be frantic and hysteric about things. So first is calm yourself down. Acknowledge the challenge set in front of you and analyze the situation. Again, what you can do here is take a step back, look at the bigger picture, and see where you are. If it's really that bad that you're in this situation or not. And also back after that, you get to make your plans. You could also make another plan. Plan A, plan B, plan C. There's no need to fret as long as you're moving forward. Okay, note down the current realities and the possible outcomes of undergoing this process. Basically, look for the silver lining. That's one. Look for the silver lining. And so coping up with the growth that we need. This is the harder version of growth that you're not ready for. This is completely blindsiding you. So coping up with this is the best way to take a deep breath. Calm yourself down. Again, find your inner peace if you can. If you can't, feel the emotions, acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the anxiety. It will pass. After it has passes, or after it has passed, you'd be able to be thinking clearly as well. Remove yourself from the situation, see how you could deal with it, analyze the strengths that you have, and see what you can do about the certain situation that you have again. Allow yourself to digest the whole situation and take a look at all the aspects of this situation. How could this make you grow physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? And focus on that. Focus on that little light at the end of the tunnel. And at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge yourself that in this situation, it may not be the easiest, may not be the hardest, but it is valid. Feeling the pain from all these situations, or feeling the anxiety taking over you for the change and the growth that you're about to undergo, be sure to acknowledge yourself that you are going through this. And the only way through it is through it, or the only way over it is to go through it. Um, Again, focus on what this circumstance is trying to teach you. Okay, so my example for this would be, I had this super intense goal before. I really wanted to go to the United States and stay in New York City. I stayed there for 4 months, figuring out how else I could try my luck there. And luckily, I thought I found my luck. I found a friend who's willing to help me get the J1 visa to, to further my experience while I'm there. But then when I came back to the Philippines, there were like guidelines that I didn't see that would not make me legible or eligible to take on that J1 program. And I felt really bad. I felt really upset. I thought that life was for me, and I was really just like feeling upset about it. I've been asking people, or I've been really trying my best to go back there as quickly as I could. But it wasn't for me. And there were countless lessons that came after that. There was redirections of my life. I had to deal with my sexuality and my family. And that year I also had to deal with losing someone, not dead, but losing someone as a person away from you. Um, so, end all be all of this is that growth is inevitable, but there are certain ways that we actually could look at this in a bigger picture. Look at this in a way that this will change us for the better. This will change us whether we like it or not. This will happen. Growth will happen. And the only way and the best way to do it is embrace it. Embrace it, face it head on, and, acknowledge it. So, as I end my podcast episode today, it's important that you understand growth can be both lateral and longitudinal, meaning it could be a step forward or adding to the skills you have. An example of this is that if you're in your career, you can go up, 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 up. And as a person, if you want to grow laterally, you want to take in cooking lessons, life skills that you want to learn, like swimming, diving. This can make you grow laterally, and like in all aspects of your personal growth, you get to be a more you, or a more developed kind of you in all aspects that you want to learn. For example, poetry, a whole lot of things. Um, Remember that growth for everybody is different. It happens in our own time, and it's unique. It's completely unique. The lessons that we learn from experiences in our lives are different from each other. Somehow similar sometimes, but completely different in so many ways. It also holds different lessons, again, for everybody, different lessons, different things that you need to know about yourself, the world, and how you view it. Embrace every part of it. This makes up who you are, the experiences and lessons you've acquired along the way. These are the things that make up your DNA as a person right now. Not literally in that sense, but who you are and how you define yourselves. Growth is also a part of that. So you have to acknowledge it. You have to know that growth is not entirely bad, not entirely good. that it's up to you to know and see where this growth is taking you. Of course, there's also growth like in the negative sense. If you're growing in like what do you call that? Like in this dirty business or whatever, that's bad. There's so many things. There's a duality in it. So focus on the good ones. Work your way up and listen to yourselves, listen to your heart. Embrace the growth that you're going to experience because everybody's growth and experience is different from each and every one of us. So have a great day, and I hope that this helped you a lot. Or if not, it's okay. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Again, this is Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. Woo! Bye!